The first thing to say is happy birthday. I mean, for any initiative, whether it's an enterprise or it's a conference series or whatever it is, to get to its 10th birthday is quite a considerable achievement. So the first thing to say is well done. Second, you're holding it in Reykjavik, I understand, the next event. And I've only once been to Reykjavik, and that was back in 1977. And I met there somebody who had already had a huge influence on my life, which was Buckminster Fuller, Bucky Fuller. And when I think about what he would say to the question that you just asked me, it would not be to focus simply on what companies are doing or what even companies are doing around particular business models. It would be to look at a cultural shift and market dynamics that go along with that cultural shift. And only then what business models and companies and so on can do in support of the change agenda. So I think it's an incredibly exciting time in all of this. I mean, it's horrifying at the same time because, the Trump administration in the United States and so on is doing things that most of us couldn't have imagined even a few years back. And yet, I feel more energized than I have done for many years. And the reason is suddenly we see the battle lines drawn. This is deadly serious. We've got to get this right. This is no longer about sort of academic concerns. This is about the future of, well, I would say our economies and societies, but at some level, it's the future of our civilization. So this is a very timely event, and I wish it extremely well. But to the question of what you should be doing, more of the same, but jacking up the sense of urgency. And then secondly, looking at the market dynamics that surround these business models and enable and empower some of these business models as they evolve. So I think this event, again, is immensely well timed. I'm sure it will have a big influence on the people who take part. And I very much look forward to hearing what is concluded at the end of it all. One of the things that is quite noticeable is that the COVID pandemic got people out of the habit of traveling to see other people. And I think one of the most important things that we can all do is to get out more and go and see people who are working right at the leading edge, the cutting edge, the bleeding edge of change and of the evolution of new business models and their testing in real world markets. I think in going and visiting people like that, not simply having them come in and speak at universities or business schools or whatever, we carry out our agenda into these places. We talk to people in a way where they suddenly think, oh, they start to ask questions that they haven't asked themselves previously. I think that's particularly true of some of the new exponential technologies that are coming through at the moment. I mean, artificial intelligence is very much in people's brains, but one of the questions that's in my brain is, hey, how do we use AI to manage the huge volumes of data and information that are now coming at us through, for example, CSRD reporting in the European Union? How do we use that information to direct our strategies, not just at the corporate and industry sector level, but at the level of entire economies? That's a huge challenge. I think business schools and others have a huge role to play in preparing tomorrow's executives to do that properly and effectively and in a timely way. So again, I think this is an incredible, this may seem delusional, it may seem odd to some people when the pushback is so severe. I think we should welcome that pushback. I think it's an opportunity for us all to improve our own thinking, create new partnerships, and come at this in a very different and perhaps a very much more powerful way.